If you saw the thumbnail, who remembers the weapon from this weapon from D1? I sure don't. Because I never really played Trials in D. All right, let me know down in the comment section below if you did play Trials in D1. Tell me your experience about it. For now though, let's talk about the Messenger Pulse Rifle, which you can get from Trials of Osiris in Destiny 2. Okay, let's hop right over to D2 Gunsmith here, and let's take a look at the base stuff for this weapon. All right, the Messenger is a 340 RPM pulse rifle that is the high impact or high aggressive frame pulse rifles, which do better when you're stationary and aiming down sights. It's kinetics pulse rifle. Its base impact is a 33. Its range is a 69. Nice. Its stability is a 59. Its handling is a 38. Its reload speed is a 44. Its aim assist is a 37, and its zoom is an 18. Recoil direction is a 60, and it has 31 in the mags at base. Hip fire, the range fall off is around 20 meters, or 21 meters rather. And then in ADS, the range fall off is roughly around 37 meters. All right, the reload speed on this thing is about 2.9 seconds. So it's pretty slow, depending on how much reload you have. And it feels really bulky when you do it. This is a pretty hard hitting pulse rifle. Depending on where you want to use it will determine whether or not you like it, in my opinion. Perk Pool is phenomenal alongside the base stats, but it's a 340 RPM pulse rifle. Now, saying that, you might think it's a bad thing, or you might think I'm saying it's a bad thing, and that depends. Sights are some of the best in the game, and the range and the stability make this a top tier weapon alongside some key perks, which we'll get into in a second. But the drawback for me is the handling on this weapon, because it makes it feel very bulky no matter where I take it. On top of that, we don't have many options to help us with that. And I'll go a bit more into detail when I talk about my recommendations for PvE and PvP. For now, let's check out the perk pool. Now, heading over to the perk list on d2gunsmith.com. Again, I'm plugging that again. You should be using this when you're going to look up exactly what perks that you want to try to farm for on these weapons when you are farming for these weapons. All right, now let's look at this list. In the first slot, we have pretty much every single barrel mod that you could possibly think of. Arrowhead brake, chambered compensator, corkscrew rifling, extended barrel, fluted barrel, full bore, hammer forge rifling, polygonal rifling, and small bore. In the second column, starting from the bottom up, going up, we got light mag, flared magwell, ricochet rounds, high caliber rounds, armor piercing rounds, appended mag, alloy magazine, and extended mag. Then in the third column, we have rapid hit, zen moment, killing wind, outlaw, moving target, encore, heating up, and then in the final column, we have one for all, desperado, head seeker, celerity, kill clip, frenzy, and elemental capacitor. Now, we have some key outliers within this perk list that send this weapon over the edge as one of the greats, but they also help keep this gun balanced and from taking the top spot completely. Those outliers are going to be Encore, which gives you, on precision final blows, grants a stacking range bonus to this weapon. Non-precision final blows remove the range stacks, but grants you an accuracy and stability when all range stacks have been removed, okay? On precision kills though, it grants 10 range per stack and maxes out at 3. That's right, 3. You get 30 range if you can get 3 headshots back to back, and it lasts for 7 seconds. Same thing with the stability, you get a better accuracy cone and 30 stability, right? Now, going off the base stats right from the get-go, we have 69. You basically are maxing out the range if you can keep hitting those 3 precision shots and keep that up. 7 seconds might not sound a lot, but it is, trust me. Desperado being another one. All right, reloading after a precision final blow increases your rate of fire. You know, reloading within the 6 seconds of a precision kill increases your rate of fire to 600 RPMs for 7 seconds. Reduces the damage by 20%, but it can be refreshed every time you get that precision kill. And just because it reduces that damage doesn't mean this thing won't still slap, okay? It's an aggressive frame, and it still does crazy amounts of damage. And this is one of those perks, again, that puts it in that one of those spots. And then another one there is rapid hit. And rapid hit is a temporary increase to stability and reload, and it only lasts for 2 seconds, but it is one of the higher tier perks in the game that most people tend to stray towards. But with that said, we don't have anything in this entire thing outside of one perk, which is Elemental Capacitor, that will help with handling. And the handling is the biggest issue with this weapon. And I think that's pretty fair considering that the other perks are pretty much what the contenders are for God roll potential on this weapon. But let's talk about PvP and PvE recommendations. Okay, starting on the PvE side, like always here, my recommendations are going to be Outlaw and One for All, or Rapid Hit and Frenzy. Now, I put these combinations in that particular order for this reason. These combinations on this weapon are specific, and if reverse, I don't believe are really good. Outlaw is perfect for One for All because it's a static buff versus Rapid Hit, which only lasts 2 seconds. And if you miss that precision shot at all, you lose out on the stacks for the reload buff completely. Now, I think Frenzy with Rapid Hit pairs very well because, again, you can constantly be aiming for those rapid hit shots with no penalty to damage, right? You lose out on the stacks that you would normally get with One for All. But with Frenzy, it's just a consistent 15%, and you go from there. Now, moving over to my PvP recommendations, and this is where I, have fallen in love. I'm going to recommend Encore Desperado, and then second, I'm going to recommend Rapid Hit or Outlaw and Desperado. Now, hear me out. If you remember the Redrick's Broadsword from year 1 in Destiny 2, Desperado is hands down one of the best perks for pulse rifles in PvP. All the power that's behind this gun, since it's an aggressive frame, explodes when you have this perk. Again, you might lose out on 20% of damage, but it pushes this thing up to a 600 RPM fire rate on a pulse rifle. It is absolutely ridiculous, especially with it having a 31 mag size, okay? Now, if you play with anything like the Dark of the Four or the Claws of the Wolf, those things are 540 RPM pulse rifles. You already know they have a pretty deep mag as well. It basically makes this thing faster than those, okay? And it's ridiculous. The drawback, though, is that you have to get a precision kill and reload it to proc it. So naturally, pairing it with things like Outlaw and Rapid Hit would make sense, right? But let's think rationally here. In order for you to see that benefit means you have to engage in multiple targets in rapid succession when you're using Rapid Hit. So Rapid Hit doesn't, as much as it might seem like it's okay, might not be the option there. Okay, but Outlaw is like in the second slot there for me, at least. But pairing it with something like Encore, now that's pretty spicy. You get a range buff if you hit the precision kills, and then you get 7 seconds of that range buff. And when I say this thing lasts forever, it lasts forever, which is wild to me. Like, just the feeling of it is just crazy. Alongside of Desperado makes it even better. Okay, I don't think it's not too often that I don't get a headshot with this weapon because, again, it's a high aggressive frame, or high impact frame, which is aggressive. It does a lot of damage in general and has a decent amount of range on it from the get-go. But that Encore gives me that extension to take those fights in those longer lanes. Okay, now if I miss those 3 headshots and I don't keep that proc and I get the stability buff, can't hurt just a little bit to have a little bit more stability on my side so that I can still hit more headshots. Okay, whether I'm hitting a headshot or a body shot, the buffs that I get from Encore are very beneficial nonetheless. Now, that's the reason I like this role. For you, might be a little bit different. You might want to stray more towards Rapid Hit or Outlaw. I'd say if you can't get an Encore, I would definitely suggest you try out an Encore if you can. Should you farm for this weapon? Yes. Now, Trials has been revamped with the ability for solo players or people who don't have a dedicated group of PvP people to play with to queue in, and on top of that, they now have a ranked system with the engrams. Much like the ritual playlists that allow you to rank up and get engrams along the way, this has the same thing. And on top of that, you can just use those engrams to purchase the weapons of your choice. Now, these will be the baseline weapons. These won't be the adept forms. You still have to go flawless to get the adept forms of these weapons and to unlock that slot. And you need a Trials passage in order to get that adept version and buy it. but it's still worth it to farm these nonetheless. All it costs is you put in a little time to play PvP, which now again is revamped, and it's not too bad outside of the flawless pool issue that's been going on lately, but they're working on that. And it doesn't require you to do anything but play and earn points towards your rank, win or lose. I say that's a win, no pun intended, so I hope that helps you with your decision. If it did, make sure you give this video a like, share it with your friends, and maybe it'll help them with their decision for it as well. I'd appreciate it a lot because it does help me out growing the YouTube channel. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.